We're going to go with Jake in Tennessee. How you doing, Jake? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Mandisa.
Hey.
I'm calling in to, I'm a Christian, and I like to just present a reasonable, I'm an apologetics minor at a Christian university right now. So I just want to kind of explain why I believe Christianity is a reasonable thing to believe in.
Okay.
So I don't want to prove it right or prove it science. Go ahead.
I just want to make sure, for clarity for the people who don't understand, on occasion, I am absolutely incredibly likely to interrupt, and it is to get clarification on something. If you say something that I don't think is clear to the audience or isn't clear to me, just so that we don't have to backtrack over and over again. So I start by defining Christianity or your terms, or present your case, and we'll try to let you get as far as we can, but just be ready.
Okay, no problem. So Christianity is, I would just define it as a religion based in the Bible, and belief in the God that I'm going to try and demonstrate, I guess. Although, okay, so I don't want to scientifically prove in God or Christianity. I just want to show why I think it's a reasonable thing to believe in. So the God specifically, I think it's reasonable to believe in is the Trinitarian God. Yes.
So we already have a problem because you defined Christianity as belief in the Bible, correct?
Well, it's.
Yeah, you just said that.
I believe it's based on the Bible, and the words of Jesus Christ, which are recorded in the Bible. It's like God's.
I understand that, but you said you were defining Christianity as belief in the Bible, right?
It's a religion based. The Bible is the foundation of Christianity.
I understand that, but you haven't given me. I'm not trying to be a dick, but if you're an apologetic student and you're learning how to put arguments together, one of the things is to define your term. And so you define Christianity as belief in the Bible. Now, if you were to do that, I would accept, okay, Christianity is now defined as belief in the Bible for the sake of this argument. The problem is that belief in the Bible doesn't tell me anything. Does that mean that the earth is 6,000 to 10,000 years old? Does that mean that, God created the earth in 6 literal days? Does it, mean that,
the ark story was actually real? There's a lot in there.
Because if you're going with, you have to accept all of it. That's a problem. But also, it could be the case.
No. I don't have a problem with that. I believe the Bible. Every word is God breathed. I believe in the scriptures.
So you're okay with slavery. So you're okay with slavery.
This is not really what I wanted to get into, but we can. I guess we can talk about that.
If you're saying that belief in God is reason, or your belief in Christianity is reasonable, yet the Bible condones slavery, rape, and murder, and you would consider that reasonable.
I called in to say it's reasonable to believe in the God of the Bible. Also, okay. So the slavery part, that was that version of slavery is completely different from the context we have in. No.
I'm sorry, but do you have your Bible handy?
I should. Yes, I do.
You should. I've got 5 of them here. Well, 7 of them here.
Yeah.
Do you have a preferred version? Like, you want to just go with an NIV? Is that fine? Or you want to go with King James?
I have ESV in front of me.
Oh, you have ESV. Well, I don't think I have an ESV standard, but if you open it up to Exodus chapter 21, maybe you don't have to read along, and we don't necessarily have to read it, but you do realize that Exodus 21 says that you can beat your slaves as long as they don't die within a couple days, and there's no punishment, right?
I'm familiar. Yes.
Okay. Is that morally correct that if you own someone's property, you should be morally permitted to beat them as long as they don't die within a couple days?
Okay, so
that's a simple question.
So contextually, right. No, okay, yeah, I understand. Okay, so it's not. We're looking at it from the lens of people who have gone through.
No, sir. You are no.
Hang on.
No,
no.
You hang on.
The Bible's supposed to be the literal word of God. Sir.
You hang on. You don't tell me to hang on my own fucking show, okay? I asked a question about what's morally permissible, and you said, we're looking it through the lens. I don't give a shit what lens you look through it. Is it okay to own people as property? Is it okay to beat them as long as they don't die within a day or two?
I'm saying there is context we need in reading the Old Testament.
Why would there be if
slavery?
Okay, Jake, excuse me. If you think it's reasonable, and that do you believe that the Bible is the literal word of God? Do you believe that?
I do, ma'am.
Okay, so then how could the perfect word of this God be taken out of context?
Yes, it's taken out of context all the time, I believe. I think a lot of people take it out of context. So in this particular case, you have Exodus 20 where God is
Exodus 21
condoning 21. Sorry. Yes, God's condoning slavery. That's we read it, we see it. But there are plenty of theologians who have worked through this. This version of slavery was if someone owed someone else a debt.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. That is not what this is about. You do not know your Bible. You do not know what Exodus 21 says. It doesn't matter whether this was about debt. It talks about the difference between. So, for example, if you're going to have slaves, should there be different rules for Jewish slaves than there are for Gentile slaves? Thus endeth the lesson. Go learn your Bible, learn your stuff, because you don't know what you're talking about. You've been listening to a bunch of apologists who have tried to soft pedal this for you, and you are flat refusing to address what the text literally says. In Exodus 21, there are a certain set of rules for if you buy Jewish slaves. You have to let them go after 7 years unless you trick them into being your slaves forever. For non-Jewish slaves, and by the way, for Jewish female slaves, because there's different set of rules for male slaves than there are for female slaves. If a man sells his daughter as a servant, she does not go free as male servants do. That's Exodus 21:7. If she doesn't please her master who has selected for himself, he must let her be redeemed. But Exodus 21:7 shows a different set of rules for male slaves than female slaves. Exodus 21 2 through 11 shows the rules for Jewish slaves, and then further on down around verse 21, etc., shows how you're supposed to treat your other slaves. And it says that you can beat them as long as they don't die within a couple of days. And if you go on to Leviticus and Deuteronomy, it says that the slaves are not only your money, but they are something that you can pass down to your children as inheritance. Please stop listening to your theologians and read the fucking book that you think is word for word true from God, because it's absolute garbage. And you are putting on God-colored glasses that are handed to you by theologians. Let God be true and every man a liar. And you, sir, are now becoming a liar because you're allowing liars to teach you.
Okay, so I clearly did not come into the call with information on biblical slavery, but
maybe you shouldn't have told me.
Right.
Then maybe you shouldn't have told us we were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Should you?
And that it was reasonable to actually believe
in this. We're going to move on. We're going to move on to another call, Jake, and you go back and continue to studying. And when you find a solution to this, call me back.
All right, I will definitely call you back.
Sweet. This ain't my first rodeo.
Oh,
It's so sad because we could have set slavery aside and gone with what happens if a man rapes a woman.
Exactly.
We could have gone with, was it okay for God to run around telling the Israelites to slaughter all these other people? Oh, by the way, is inherited sin moral? Is substitutionary atonement moral?
Right.
And
right. If any of those things are immoral to you, then it is unreasonable. It is an unreasonable religion. In fact, it is an evil, horrible religion.
Yeah. So here's the other thing, and that's this. It's entirely possible that he may have had a case for how it is reasonable to believe that God exists, provided God is defined as an immoral thug who sanctions slavery and other things.
That part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that, okay, that's not the way this really works, and you don't get to pretend like you have some sort of moral high ground. But
right. Your God is not good all the time, if ever.
Yeah, if you want to call up, by the way, and say, hey, I think it's reasonable to believe in God, but God's a monumental piece of shit. Okay, cool. I mean, you can possibly make that case, but you can't say that you believe every word of the Bible comes from God and that God is good, which this is why he's willing to bend over and make excuses for this. But the other thing is that, when we look at the Bible, and I ask a question like, is the earth 6,000 to 10,000 years old? The answer is yes. It just also happens to be billions of years older than that as well.
Right. That part.
It's like saying, is Matt 5? Yes. And then you add a few years on as well.